আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমি তৌহিদ আইসিসি থেকে বলছি। আশা করি সবাই ভালো আছেন। আমি জানি আমাদের অনেক ফ্রেন্ড ফ্যামিলি আসলে এই পরিস্থিতিতে সবাই ভালো নাই। তো দোয়া করি যারা হাসপাতালে আছেন বা যারা কোভিডে আক্রান্ত তারা খুব তাড়াতাড়ি রিকভার করেন। এছাড়াও যারা নানা সমস্যায় আছেন hopefully will recover soon. So today we have a very special session regarding study in Australia, especially study in Flinders University, one of the biggest university in Australia and one of the most reputed university in Australia. সো আজকে আমরা অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে এডুকেশন এবং বর্তমানে অস্ট্রেলিয়ার সিচুয়েশনটা কি, কিভাবে স্টুডেন্টরা তাদের জার্নিটা কন্টিনিউ করতে পারছে, ইউনিভার্সিটি গুলা কিভাবে স্টুডেন্টকে অ্যাসিস্ট করতেছে এই ডিফিকাল্ট টাইমে তাদের পড়াশোনা এবং জার্নিগুলা কন্টিনিউ করার জন্য, এবং ইন বিটুইন আইসিসি কিভাবে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে হেল্প করছে সেটা নিয়ে আমরা আলাপ করব। আজকে আমাদের মাঝে দুজন স্পেশাল গেস্ট আছেন। আমাদের সাথে আছেন মিস মেলিসা ফ্রম ফ্লিন্ডার্স ইউনিভার্সিটি। She will discuss about the Flinders University program and how Australian immigrations allowing students to study further at this moment, and facility Flinders University and Australia providing for international students. We also have a special guest, one of our beloved student, Safat Al-Razik. He recently got visa for Flinders University and he will share his experience, how his journey went through this difficult time. So I would like to welcome both of you. Very good evening.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will first ask Safat regarding his journey. So Safat, this is a difficult time for most of the students, like they are thinking about how to continue their study in Bangladesh or abroad, and whether not to apply for overseas at this moment or not. So how your journey began? Why you decided to study overseas and especially Australia?
Well, the first thing is that the universities in Bangladesh, they're good, but they don't have the proper facilities for better studies. And hence, studying in Australia would help me develop my skills a bit more, and hopefully in the future I can do something better.
ওকে, সো আপনারা যারা আমাদের এই ইভেন্টটা শুনছেন, আপনারা অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে স্টাডি সম্বন্ধে, ফ্লিন্ডার্স ইউনিভার্সিটি স্টাডি সম্বন্ধে এবং অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে স্কলারশিপ, কারেন্ট ভিসা প্রসেসিং সম্বন্ধে যে কোনো কোয়ারিজ থাকলে আমাদেরকে কোশ্চেন করতে পারেন। আপনারা মেলিসাকে কোশ্চেন করতে পারেন, সাফাতকে কোশ্চেন করতে পারেন। অবভিয়াসলি আমি তো আছি, যে কোনো ধরনের কোয়ারিজটা আপনারা ইন বিটুইন যদি কারোর কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে আমাদেরকে করার ট্রাই করুন। আমরা চেষ্টা করব আপনার কোশ্চেনগুলো আনসার দেওয়ার জন্য। So Safat, my second question is why you choose Flinders University for your study?
Flinders University is one of the best universities in Australia, and Adelaide is a good place to live in, which is why I chose Flinders.
And how you feel your journey in this difficult time? Do you feel any difficulties or how your journey went through like so far?
Well, it is very difficult, obviously, this time of COVID-19 where I have to study online. Sometimes it does get difficult to understand, but I'm still getting used to it. Hopefully I can adjust it. And,
yeah, and do you need to bother about your visa processing and paperwork for yourself, or ICC assist you regarding the process?
Yeah, IECC assisted me with everything. I would probably not be able to do it alone, but with the help of IECC, I was able to get my visa. So a huge thanks to them.
Okay, so good to hear from that. And how you think Flinders University assisting you regarding coping up with the new education system and especially the online system? Are you getting support from the university?
Yes, Flinders University has 24/7 support. I can call them anytime if I have any queries, and the lectures are all recorded. So if let's say I don't understand something, I can always go back and check by myself.
Okay, so Flinders University located in Adelaide, the South Australia province. So do you have any idea about the locations, or you have any family member in that part? So what their feedback, why you choose this location?
Yes, I actually have my sibling, my brother in Adelaide, and from what I've heard from him is that it's a very nice place to live in, and The people over there are also very nice, kind. The university is very good. The people in the university are also very nice as well, and they all contributed to the factor of me choosing the university.
Okay, so do you receive any scholarship from the Flinders University?
Yes, I've received a 25% Go Beyond Excellence scholarship from the university.
Okay, so congratulations as well. So I hope your journey will continue much smoother in future day. And if you need any assistance from my side or from your side, Melissa and I will be there. So Melissa, do you want to say anything to Shafat before we can take he can take leave from the
Yes,
session?
absolutely. Firstly, I wanted to say to Safa, congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
visa, your successful visa. So that's very
Thank
exciting
you.
that you've already received your visa approval. So as soon as the border restrictions ease, you'll be able to travel to Adelaide and we'll be able to meet you in person and you'll be able to continue with your studies face to face. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
and as well, congratulations on your 25% full duration scholarship. So
Yeah, thank
that that means that you're a very good student. Like you obviously had very good grades as well. So congratulations on that.
thank
Um,
you.
yeah, so well done with both of those things, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm
So,
looking forward
Safa,
to.
before yeah, thank you. And before you take leave, just advice like for new student, how they should browse their options and what's the preparation you advise to your fellow friends or any new student coming to Australia or going to overseas.
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say is to check the course plan. That would help you understand what subjects are going to be studied in the university, and also this would help understand what to study first and which one. Let's say if I'm strong at something, I can keep it for later and then study the weaker subjects so I can develop them as well. And looking at the course plan is obviously one of the most important things that I think everyone needs to do.
Okay, so thank you for your advice and time. So all the best for your future journey. So keep
Thank
in
you.
touch and all the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Uh, See you. Bye.
So it was really nice talking to Shafat. So ধন্যবাদ আপনারা যারা সাথে আছেন. We'll discuss about Australian study, current immigration policies, and most importantly, I will share our current working activities. আপনারা জানেন যে আইসিসি এই প্যান্ডেমিকের সময়ও আমরা আমাদের স্টুডেন্টদেরকে সর্বোচ্চ সাপোর্ট দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করছি। অনেক সময় হয়তো লিমিটেড রিসোর্সেস বা টাইমের কারণে কোনো কোনো ক্ষেত্রে হয়তো ডিলে থাকতেও পারে, কিন্তু আপনাদের বেশিরভাগ স্টুডেন্টই আর রিয়েলি thankful to us that we provide them proper service during this difficult time, and that's why we got one of the most success for overseas study in recent days as well. So আমি আপনাদের এই ইভেন্টটার শেষের দিকে আমাদের যে আইসিসি পরবর্তী যে আমরা যদি লকডাউনে থাকি কিভাবে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে সাপোর্ট দিব, কারেন্ট বাংলাদেশের সিচুয়েশনটা নিয়ে আলাপ করব। তো আপনারা আমাদের সাথেই থাকবেন এবং ইন বিটুইন যদি কোনো কোয়ারিজ থাকে অস্ট্রেলিয়া স্টাডি সম্বন্ধে বা আইসিসি সম্বন্ধে আপনারা আমাদের কোয়ারিজ করতে পারেন। So thank you Melissa for your time. So hope you are doing great and all your team member also doing well.
We are. Thank you very much. We're all well here.
Okay, so
well too.
yeah, unfortunately, that situation in Bangladesh not that good at this moment. We are getting increased number of cases for COVID each day. So government is taking some hard measures to tackle the situation. But hopefully, if we obey the rules and maintain our safety procedures, so the things should be okay in next couple of weeks or so. So I know Australia is one of the most most preferred countries at this moment for international student, and they are taking a really tough measure to tackle this COVID situation, and that's why it is one of the most affected countries for COVID at this moment. So could you please at first beginning tell us regarding the Australian policy at this moment, because we know for a long time they don't open the border yet for the safety of the international student as well as their own citizens. So how things are going for Australia at this moment?
So things are, in terms of the COVID situation, things are going very smoothly here in Australia. So we don't have any cases, and pretty much everything is back to normal, and it has been like that since about May last year. So we've been very fortunate in that sense, but the government did take a very hard policy around, moving quickly, moving early, and basically keeping things locked until we have got some, like the vaccinations coming in, and until the population has had relatively well covered with the immunisations. So that has all commenced, and there has been a few delays with it, but it is still coming along quite well. And there has been lots of discussions around pilot programs and things like that, and each of the states at the moment are putting in a submission to the federal government of how they will manage returning students into their state. So that is all in progress. What it does mean, though, most likely, is that students will continue online for the semester 2 intake of this year. And what we are very hopeful, though, is that students will be able to enter the country and be here face-to-face for semester 1 2022. So, our government did take a very hard policy straight up and acted very fast. But what that does mean for you is once Australia is open, is it's a very safe environment. So you'll be able to be here and be able to work and live and study freely. There's really no restrictions. Once you're in the country, all of the state borders are all open. You are able to travel freely, and everything. Life is pretty normal. It's very normal here. So once we get to that next phase, you'll definitely have a lot of benefit from the government taking that very quick action from the beginning.
Okay, so that's really great to know that due to their strict measures, the cases are very minimum in Australia, and it's almost, I think, zero casualties for quite good number of times or so. And the government is now working with the state government so that they can bring international student, and every province is making a proposal for how they are tackling, how they are going to tackle the international students. So it make their journey easier, and good to know that the Australian university and the governments are working closely so that they have a plan that they could bring international students from semester 2, which is coming in July or August. If the situation continues to improve in Australia, so hopefully student will be able to join their class physically from later this year. And till that time, how Australian university and the student doing? So can a student apply for your university and apply for the visa at this moment?
Absolutely. So as we heard previously, everything is as usual, and what we do recommend is that you do continue your process now as usual, because basically you can get your offer, you can accept your offer, you can get your confirmation of enrolment. IECC will help you with that whole process. You can submit your visa application with the help of IECC. And what that does mean is that you're in the front of the queue. So visas are continuing to be assessed and approved, as we just heard. So it is much better to keep that process moving forward rather than wait and then there'll be a long delay, I would suggest, later on, as soon as announcements come out around when the border restrictions will ease. Pretty much there'll be a rush at that point. I will be very confident of that. The thing is that you can also commence your studies, as we just heard as well. And students have been approved to start with reduced load because obviously, you're not here in Australia, so some students are studying with 1 or 2 topics, which means that it's a lot more manageable. And there's a lot of support from the Flinders team here on the ground to make sure that you've got everything you need, you know what to do, all of that. It does mean that we're getting started, we're getting familiar with the Flinders systems and processes, and that you can, get a head start. Basically, you're not delaying things. And then as soon as the announcement comes, you're at the head of the queue. So that's what we're really recommending to people.
Yeah, that's really important advice, Melissa. As the process is continuing, students can apply for their offer letter and apply for the visa, and after they can continue their study till the border open. As Melissa advised, since Australia is one of the very popular country for study, if you wait to be for the border to be open, like when open, there will be a lot of rush for applications as well as for the visa processing. So you might not be able to reach Australia on time. But if you start your processing now, get your visa approval early, so you can fly as soon as the border is open, and you will be in added advantage compared to the fresher students and so on. And I think Australian government already confirmed that if you study in your home country and later join to Australian university, that your study will counted towards Australian study. So you don't losing any time for your post-study work permit or so on. So I think it is high time, like as Melissa said, as well as the student who recently got visa said that especially Flinders University providing them 24-hour service for any issues, and they are more careful about the students' queries as well as their problems at this moment. So you are getting extra help to overcome the initial hurdle student face. So I think it is a high time students should apply for this, and they can process their visa at this moment, and later when border is open, they can fly quicker than those apply on later date and so on. And moreover, I think if you delay in your decision, we don't know when the pandemic situation will be fully recover. It will create a study gap. Also, there are with the gap, you are losing some extra year for your professional career as well. So I think it is high time for students thinking about overseas study to start their process at this moment and continue. And my second question is, Melissa, I know Flinders is one of the great university, and every year their ranking is going high. Some of the program is really globally highly ranked for your wonderful facilities and research facilities and so on. We always see that your brochures as well as some other materials that go beyond. So could you please elaborate about the go beyond the theme you are currently working on? So what do you mean by that?
Absolutely. And just wanted to reiterate what you said, Tahid, in that if students who do commence their studies online for now, it all does count towards your post-study work visa. So that is a good thing. You can rest assured that it's all counting and you're not at a disadvantage at all. So in terms of the Flinders scholarships, we have some really good range of scholarships available for students. So there's 5 key scholarships that we have. The one that you may have seen promoted quite widely is our Vice Chancellor Scholarship. So that is a 50% full duration scholarship. Now that is available for our semester 2 intake in July this year. So there is a bit of a process with that one. When IECC make your application, when they submit that, if you are eligible for that scholarship, it has quite a high academic requirement, but if you are a very high achieving student, our admissions team will let you know that you are eligible for it. and there is a form to complete to go along with that process. So that one's not an automatic scholarship, but if you do meet the academic requirements, you will be told that it's a good idea to do the application. So that's the first one, the 50% Vice Chancellor. The second one, the next two in the undergraduate programs, we have the 25% full duration scholarship and the 20% full duration scholarship that are available at undergraduate level. And at postgraduate level, we have that 50% Vice Chancellor scholarship again, plus we also have our 20% full duration scholarship. We also do have some pathway scholarships for students who have completed the equivalent of an Australian diploma, and we also have our Alumni Scholarship. So if someone that has studied at Flinders before, so perhaps you studied and returned, you could be eligible for the Alumni Scholarship. So there are key scholarships, and that they're 20% full duration scholarships as well. So there's a range of scholarships available. They all do have an academic merit to them, criteria to them. So obviously the higher the scholarship amount, the higher the academic requirement. And what will happen is that you'll be assessed automatically when you put your application through, when IECC helps you to put your application through to admissions. Admissions will assess you for an offer and assess you for the scholarship at the same time. If it is the Vice Chancellor one, as I mentioned, there's an extra form to complete. But if it is any of the other scholarships that you're eligible for, you will automatically receive them with your offer letter. So there's no extra application process with the 25 or the 20% scholarships at undergraduate and postgraduate level.
Thank you, Melissa. We have few questions that related to the tuition fees and scholarship. I think student can get idea that there is a possibility to reduce your tuition fees through a lot of scholarship that Flinders University is offering. So besides scholarship, do you use go beyond as your tagline, like a student can go beyond their class study as well as their career as well, because it is written in your prospectus as well. So I am talking about the go beyond theme you are using for students.
Absolutely. So that's a very big, that's basically what we promise students that come to study at Flinders University, is that you will be able to go beyond. And the way that we help to facilitate that is Flinders has a range of things built into the programs that really help students be successful with their careers. So when you come to do your study, you don't just want to finish with a piece of paper at the end. You actually want to have practical experience, internships, opportunities and exposure to build your network so that you can get the jobs in the area that you study once you've graduated. And that's something that we're committed to. So all the way throughout your program, you'll have opportunities for placement, internship, mentoring opportunities, as well as industry projects. So there's a large range of things that you can, some of the programs it's compulsory, you have to do it. And for some programs, it's optional. But we highly recommend students to take the opportunity as much as possible, because it does lead to really good outcomes in terms of career, opportunities for students. An example of an extra program that we run here at Flinders is our Horizons program. So, for instance, this gives an example of how you can go beyond your degree while you're doing your studies. So the Horizons program, there's a range of different topics that are presented, as well as workshops, as well as training sessions. These are not, your lectures or anything like that. These are additional, optional things that you can attend, and you earn points for attending these sessions, and you build your practical skills. And at the end of your degree, you actually get an additional certificate that outlines all the different Horizons program activities, events trained workshops that you've been a part of. So that complements your testament or your transcript at the end to show all the extra skills that you've built and developed throughout your degree here at Flinders University. And it's part of the reason why we have such good graduate outcomes for our students. So I highly recommend taking up all of those extra opportunities that are available there for students.
Okay, so that's really Melissa, I'd like to highlight that beside your traditional lectures and practical work experience, Flinders University also develop a series of outside classroom activities like workshop, lectures, and other activities that can help students to build their resume and gain some practical work experience and get a certificate that they can use in their future professional career for betterment of their job security as well as their promotions as well as other activities. They can use that certificate and they can go beyond to their class and only traditional learning and so on. So I think that's why Flinders is maintaining one of the great employability rate among all Australian university and so on. So Melissa, I know Flinders is a quite good, quite big university and offering programs from diplomas through your partners institution through PhD level program. So can you elaborate some of the your key program that most of the student like, from, especially from South Asian student, is mainly going for your program that is more you are getting more interest for this program for last few years.
Yes, absolutely. So Flinders University is a comprehensive university. So we have more than 500 programs, undergraduate, postgraduate and research level. We teach across 6 main colleges. So pretty much anything that you want to study, you'll find at Flinders University. Some of the things that we're famous for at Flinders, we're very well known for our engineering and our IT programs. So if you're wanting to study anything within that range, we have some really interesting specializations within that area as well. So we have, artificial intelligence as a specialization, as well as cyber security. So some really cutting edge, leading edge programs that we teach within that STEM space. So we have an incredible facilities that we teach that within. So we have our Tonsley campus, which is just for tech programs. You can do your Cisco certificates while you're doing your studies at Flinders, and they're taught on campus as well. So we have the Cisco labs on campus, the engineering pods, we have automated vehicles on this Tonsley campus. So incredible tech campus and incredible programs within IT and engineering that we're very well known for, as well as things like biomedical. So very well known in that space. We also teach within the College of Business, Government and Law. So if there's any programs with undergraduate or postgraduate business, government and law, we have a full range of programs there. And if you're studying at postgraduate level, we actually teach the program on our Victoria Square campus in the CBD. So that's so that you're in the prime position for all of the workplaces related to that area that you're studying in. So we are also very well known for our nursing and health sciences program, a huge range of health sciences programs that we offer. Pretty much everything except for dentistry and podiatry. Everything else we offer, physiotherapy, optometry, a huge range of programs that we offer in that space. We also have our College of Medicine and Public Health. So we have our basically MBBS program. We call it our BCS MD, but it's basically the same program that we offer here, and that's a very popular program as well. And we also have our Education, Psychology and Social Work College, and our programs within teaching and education as well as social work, undergraduate and postgraduate, are very popular too. So we have a huge range of programs. As I said, pretty much anything you'd want to study. Also, I didn't mention some of our science. It's very well known as well. Things like our water resource management, our environmental management. So at Flinders, we've got you covered. Pretty much anything you want to study, we offer, and we have very well-ranked programs as well.
Yeah, it's really also helpful for us. We can provide all the options student looking for Flinders University. But yeah, you mentioned about your health sciences program, and especially for medicine program. We are getting an increased number of queries for medicine program. So can Bangladeshi student directly apply for the medicine program at this moment, or do they need any foundation first?
No, they can. That's a good question. So at this stage, they'd need, it's students, if you've done your A levels, then you could apply directly, or IB, we could take directly. At this stage, if you have done your HSC, we would need you to go through a foundation program at this point. So we would package your foundation into your MBBS, or what we call a BCS MD program. So there are options for you if you're finishing your HSC and you're wanting to still come to Flinders. You will need to do your foundation year, but there is definitely still an option for you. And if you have done A levels or IB, you could go directly into the MBBS program.
Okay, so after finishing their BDS MD degree, so what will be the route? Can they practice in Australia, or do they need to register for Australian Medical Council?
So it's a very straightforward process. So you've got 2 years of your clinical science program, Bachelor of Clinical Science, 4 years of your MD program. You then have a year where you do a placement year, which is arranged by the federal government here in Australia, and it's a compulsory paid placement year. And then from there, you will be able to register. So as long as you complete all of those steps, your study, as long as you've been able to progress through and you do that placement year, you'll then be able to register in Australia as a doctor.
Okay, so that's a pretty clear route for a student, because some other countries there are a lot of difficulties unless they are citizen or permanent resident for that country. They can go for any medicine program, or after finishing their program they need to sit for some additional exam, and then they could do that. But your program is included all the formalities during the time frames, like the initial study and that after the placement, all will arranged by the university and the federal government to give the student advantage, so they don't need to stop in a mid-level position or in a middle, so that they could not find any job or work placement after their study, which is really important for medicine students.
Yeah, so the first thing that I would say is that there is an interview that happens at the beginning for your program. So you will be having an interview with the college. So you need the academic requirements firstly, and then if you meet the academic requirements, you would move through to the interview stage. And if you pass the interview stage, then you would be able to receive the offer through, and it's basically the program together. You can't separate it. So you do your first 2 years clinical science, and then 4 years into the MD program, and then your placement, and then you've completed and you can register. So that's everything for the undergraduate level. For the postgraduate level, if you had already done a bachelor degree in Bangladesh and now you're wanting to come and do just the MD program in Australia, the 4 years, you can do that. So as long as your degree is recognised, you would need to do an MCAT or a GAMSAT test, though. There is that additional requirement, which is an entrance test that you can register for and do in Bangladesh, and then those results will come through to us. So to our admissions team. So if you have passed that GAMSAT or MCAT, you would then have an interview and then go through to the 4-year program. So there are the two different options, the undergraduate through to postgraduate, or if you've already done an undergraduate, you do need to have a credit average, so about 70%, for you to then, and then you do your GAMSAT and then an interview, and you can go directly into the 4-year MD program.
Yeah, I really understand. Meanwhile, getting some queries about the admission requirements and IELTS requirements. I know some program varies, and it's depend on the academic background the student coming from, or whether they are coming from HSC or from O-level, A-level, or IB diploma. And for master's admission, it depends on the which university they study. But in general, could you elaborate like some undergrad admission requirements and IELTS requirements and master's admission requirements and IELTS requirements? Later, student can contact us for specific queries. But generally, how much percentage you are looking for Bangladeshi students for undergrad level as well as master's level?
Yes. So basically, for if you're going into medicine, it's got the equivalent of an IELTS 7 overall and 7 in each band score. So you'll find that for programs like medicine, as well as teaching, that's got the IELTS 7 requirement, as well as things like social work and nursing. They all have a very high IELTS requirement, IELTS 7 overall and 7 in each band, the equivalent. You can do any alternative test like a PTE test or a Cambridge test or any of the other official tests. You can also do the Duolingo online test. Now, that will be sufficient for all programs, meet requirements for all programs with the exception of nursing. So nursing in Australia is regulated by the professional body ANMAP, and they're very prescriptive that you need to do an IELTS or PTE test. So the Duolingo can't be accepted for nursing, but for everything else, you can do the Duolingo test, which is very achievable and affordable. So I think it's around $50 US, and the results are released within 48 hours, and they come through to our admissions team directly. So that is a good option for you if perhaps you need to get that high score, or perhaps you have sat a test already and you're unable to sit an IELTS, or whatever the scenario is. It just gives you another option.
Okay, so Melissa, you're talking about the IELTS 7 for the most technical, especially medicine, nursing related subject. But overall, I think your IELTS requirement is 6.5, no than less than 6 for most of your program, right?
For the majority, yes. There is also some of our programs are IELTS 6.0. So it really depends on how much written work there is as a part of the program. So for instance, you'll find for, say, engineering, it'll have an IELTS 6.0 requirement because there's not as much requirement for, say, written assignments and things like that. So the overall requirement is lower. However, you'll find for something else that has a much higher written component that it's got a higher IELTS requirement. So it really does depend on the program. So some of our programs will start at an IELTS 6. That's the lowest that they start, and then the highest is an IELTS 7 requirement.
Okay, so Mr. Burhan and a few other students asking about IELTS requirements. I would like to say Flinders University's IELTS is starting from 6 to 7. It depends on the program, but most cases it will be around 6.5 range. And you not only have the IELTS at this moment, you can also appear other exams like PTE or Duolingo test is a great option, as Melissa mentioned. And you also asked about without IELTS possible. I would like to say no, you have to seek for IELTS later date, but like other university, Flinders University offering conditional offer at this moment if you don't have IELTS yet. For most students who don't have the IELTS, feel free to apply at this moment if you have your academic result ready. So we can give you the conditional offer, or Flinders University will give you the conditional offer, and later you can prepare the IELTS exam, but what will it be advantage that your scholarship application, you will be know whether you are getting the scholarship or not. You will get the idea about the future documents requirements and so on. So you will be in advantage position if you apply at this moment and achieve a conditional offer. Condition could be anything, like if you have IELTS or just you are waiting for your final grade or so on. You can apply with your predicted grade or so on. So you can contact with Flinders University or us regarding your partial documents, and we will guide you whether you can apply with that at this moment or not. But sooner or later, you will need IELTS or any English test for your final offer letter or before applying your visa application. So IELTS is, there are some flexibility, I think, especially for undergrad student. If they are coming from HSC background, they are going through diploma program. There are most cases their IELTS requirements is around 6, so you can apply first year from diploma, then transfer to the Flinders University with your IELTS score of 6 or so. So my another question was well, lastly, like the percentage or entry requirement for Bangladeshi students at this moment. Generally, I know it varies, but most places, what's the requirements at this moment?
Yes, okay. So as I was mentioning before, is that at this particular moment, we can accept A-level students and IB students directly into undergraduate programs. But if you have studied or you are studying a HSC, you will either need to go into a foundation or you could go into a diploma program. And the diploma would be 1 year, and then you would go into second year of your bachelor degree. So it will mean that it won't take you any longer to complete your bachelor degree in Australia, and you can definitely start it online, and you could then come into Australia straight into your bachelor, like get your diploma done online and come into your bachelor here on campus. So that is one option for you in terms of coming into our undergraduate programs. For postgraduate programs, so what you will need is you will need to have a 2.47 CGPA out of 4 to meet the academic requirements to go into most of our undergraduate programs. So it just depends. There's a little bit of variance in that. The minimum is 2.45 to go into it. And yeah, some of them have a slightly higher requirement as well. But I think most students meet those requirements to go directly into one of our master's level programs.
Okay, so the getting a quite good number of queries about the tuition fees. So can you give us a little bit idea about the tuition fees range you are offering for international students?
Absolutely. So it also does depend on what program you're looking to study. So, and I'll quote the fees before scholarship, because obviously if you are eligible for one of the 50, 25 or 20% scholarships, that will change the level of fees that you pay, obviously. So it depends on what program you're studying, but say for instance you were looking to study a business program here at Flinders University. So it's approximately, it's around $30,000 Australian dollars per year before the scholarship. So depending on what scholarship opportunity you have, that will obviously change the amount. And that covers you for basically 8 topics. There's 8 topics in a year. So you would have 4 in your first semester and 4 in your second semester. And yeah, so basically that is the sort of general average sort of fees. Yeah, so just around 33 or so, yeah, around 33,000 for undergraduate, and postgraduate is similar. So postgraduate, you're looking at around about, rather than say around about, I'll tell you exactly. So the postgraduate fees would be we're looking at for per year, you're looking at about 37,500. So around about 33,000 for undergraduate and 37,000 for postgraduate. And then obviously if you're eligible for the scholarship, that will come off of those fees. So it'll be, say 25%, 20% or 50% less than that amount. And yeah, as I mentioned, we have 2 intakes a year. We have a semester 1 March intake and a semester 2 July intake. So there's still one more intake for this year. You would do four subjects in your first semester and 4 in your second semester each year. So even if you start in July, you'll do 4 this year and then do the next 4 next year for your first year.
Okay, so here I would like to elaborate something about study cost in Australia. Before that, I would like to answer Mr. Burhan's questions. Can he apply at this moment? So, Mr. Burhan, yes, you can apply at this moment without IELTS for conditional offer. But later, when we are in the final stage, you need to sit for IELTS or give any other English program. But if you have all your academic documents ready along with your passports, we definitely can apply for you if you meet the requirements, and you can give IELTS later. But you need IELTS at the later date, as we discussed earlier. What I'm talking about, like a lot of students worry about the study cost in Australia or any other developed countries, but you need to consider the value of the program. So if you consider the ranking on the university, the career outcome of the university, I think Flinders University is a very good position in terms of the quality and the ranking compared to the other similar rank university, not only in Australia, for other countries. Secondly, with a lot of scholarship options, most of the students getting some kind of scholarship that reducing their tuition fees up to 50%, as Melissa told you earlier regarding some additional scholarship or so on. So you can minimize your cost. Secondly, you should consider about the part-time job opportunities while you are studying in Australia. You know that you can study like 40 hours per fortnight or around 20 hours per week. So in most cases, like when students in Australia, their study system is that you don't have to be always busy with your study. After initial settle down, and I think after 6 months or 1 year, most of the students, not only international student, also Australian student, also doing some kind of job. So they can manage their living cost little bit while they are doing jobs during their idle time. Besides that, Australia have very big summer breaks, like from November to February. Before your class start on later date on February or March, you can do full-time work in Australia. That will reduce that is a great opportunity to arrange some fund for your future studies. So you can arrange that fund for your future studies as well. And one of the most important thing about Australian study, most of their undergrad program is 3 years, not the 4 years like North American degree. So you are saving 1 year cost in tuitions as well as living costs. So there is a great opportunity that you can finish your degree earlier and saving big amount of money and going for the work much earlier compared to the other degree. Like in Bangladesh, sometimes due to the session jam and some other reason, it's taking like 5-6 years to finish their bachelor's. From Australia, you are finishing your degree within 3 years. So you are saving a lot of time as well as money as well. Thirdly, another important point is that you are getting post-study work permit. It is an investment for you. Like after finishing your degree, you are getting 2 to 3 years post-study work permit to gain Australian experience. So, like the invest you are making during your study time, you are also recovering that money while you are studying full time after finishing your degree. So you can compare like some local costing to some international university costing due to this kind of advantages and so on. Though initially the tuition fee seems to be high, but if you manage your study and job properly, if you maintain good grades as well as manage your time, some part-time work or post-study work, then you can always you can always return your money that you are investing in Australia and so on. And you should be vigilant. Like in Flinders University, it is a regional area based university where you are not only getting 2 years, you are getting 3 years post study work permit. So you are studying either for 3 years bachelor's or 2 years master's, then you are getting 3 years post study work permit. So it is a quite good return of investment to my point. So what I would say, before rushing to some tuition fees, you should consider the other fact that can help you to minimize your costing or get you better return on your investment. So that initially, though your tuition fees is high, but if you are managing your time or your study properly in Australia, you can recover this amount in quicker time than other places in the world. So I think you should consider or discuss us regarding if you have any financial concern or how you could manage your finance. But it is expensive, I know, but the return is much bigger. So Melissa, please continue.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. Is that there is a big investment, but there is a really good outcome for students. And as we were mentioning, so South Australia, Adelaide, where Flinders is located, so it is an incredible city to study in and live within, and lots of opportunities are here. So our South Australian government is very welcoming and has made a full plan out there. You can search it around study, live, stay. So if that's something that you're wanting to do, South Australia's got a lot to offer you. And Flinders University, I'm an alumni of Flinders University myself. I studied here and I'm actually still studying here. I'm doing my master's while I work here as well. So I highly recommend. We have incredible programs, amazing academics, as well as really great facilities to study in. And as I mentioned before, there's all the support that you need to really help you get all of the skills so that you can get the jobs after you finish your degree here. So a really good opportunity to come and study in Adelaide at Flinders University.
Yeah, and I think I forgot to put just elaborate regarding the accreditations. Like most of the Australian university have international standard accreditation, which is equivalent to any part of the world that each student can utilize. So, could you please tell us about the accreditation like IT pro student getting, or the engineer student getting, or medical student getting?
Absolutely. So if you're wanting to apply to study at Flinders University, you'll need to work with our partners. So IECC is our partner in Bangladesh. They can help you with your application. So they will tell you what documents you need, and they will lodge your application. It will come through to our admissions team, who will assess the application and send through your offer with your scholarship. And then from there, you would accept your offer, and you would be issued with, you pay your deposit and be issued with your confirmation of enrolment, and IECC would help you then to lodge for your student visa as well. So
yeah, I'm talking about the medicine, like the accreditations, like the computer science student getting Australian Computer Society accreditation. That is almost common for all university in Australia. And this accreditation will be international accreditation. It is acceptable in Europe as well as North America as well. Like engineering student getting some additional accreditation. So can you tell us?
Absolutely. So thank you for that. Yes, so our programs are recognised internationally. So even if you study them in Australia and you want to work anywhere in the world, they will be recognised. So for instance, if you studied IT at Flinders University, they would be recognised by the Australian Computer Society as well as the Soul Accord. So recognised globally. And the same, like for instance, if you studied our engineering programs, they're recognised here by Engineers Australia as well as the Washington Accord. So you can take your degree anywhere you want to go, and you'll be able to use that degree worldwide.
Yeah, that's the unique points. Like in some other country, there are a lot of university and colleges. It's very difficult to find the suitable universities or college for you. But for Australia, there are a very limited number of university with international accreditation. So with your accreditation from Australia, that is accepted by worldwide, and you can utilize that certificate. Like as Melissa mentions, like you are getting Australian Computer Society accreditations or Engineer Australia accreditation for accountant SSCA or Australian Accounting Society getting you accredited. So it's a globally recognized degree, not only university providing you a degree that widely accepted. You are getting a professional recognition for your professional program as well. So I think for that Australia is still one of the best country for international students in terms of other facilities like students getting beside part-time job opportunities. Their weather is much better. It is also known for multicultural environment. It's an immigrant country, so people are very welcoming to the new students as well as other nationalities from different countries. So the living cost also compared to the other places is reasonable, and especially South Australia or Adelaide, it is one of the best place to live with minimum budget. So it could be really helpful. So Melissa, I think we are at the end of this session. So before we leave, you just tell me about how Flinders University is helping students at this moment to start their class online, and what are the support they are getting. I know you are experienced for last 1 years or more. You are still getting better each day to serve your student better in this difficult time. So how you are assuring students that they can confidently start their class online at this moment, and later they can join when border open?
Absolutely. So students, you can absolutely start your studies online now, and you can do a reduced load of 1 or 2 topics. You'll have all the support that you need from here. So our student support team will call you. They also will send you all the information and videos and support of how to do everything. And if you need any further support, they're there to guide you every step of the way. So you're definitely getting lots of support from student services as well as your academic support. So you'll be absolutely well looked after while you're doing your first studies online. The good thing about that is that then you're getting familiar with all the Flinders systems and how to submit assignments and things like that. As a student, you'll have access to all of our resources, library, database, everything that you need for your studies. So you will have everything you need. If you can't make the times for your lectures or your tutorial or your lectures, they'll record and you can watch them whenever you want to. And then in terms of tutorials, they'll have lots of different times, so you can choose a time that suits you to work in with what else you've got going on with your life as well. So I highly recommend starting your studies online now, even if it is just the 1 or 2 topics to begin with, so that at least you're getting started, getting your visa application in, so that you can, as soon as people are able to travel to Australia, you're at the front of the queue.
Okay, so if student wish to apply now, so how they apply, and is there any application fees for you?
Yes, so there's no application fee at all. We don't charge an application fee, but they will need to come and work with our partner, like IECC. So the best thing to do, go to the IECC office or contact them, and they'll be able to assist you with all of the process for making your application all the way through to lodging your visa and coming to Australia.
Okay, so that's really wonderful. So I think students as well as parents get some good information about the current situation in Australia and how they could utilize this time for their study and future. They can enjoy all the facilities Australia providing for international students. So I would like to say goodbye, Melissa. So thank you for your time. So in between, if you have any question for us, keep in touch. And I would like to give little briefing about the current situations at the end of these sessions. So before that, I would like to say bye, Melissa, for your time. See you soon.
Thank you. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you in Australia. Bye bye.
Definitely, bye.
Bye bye.
সো আপনারা যারা আছেন আমাদের সাথে, থ্যাংক ইউ আপনাদের সাথে অনেক ইম্পর্টেন্ট কোশ্চেন করার জন্য। হোপফুলি আপনারা আজকে সেশনটা থেকে কিছু ইনফরমেশন গ্যাদার করতে পারলেন যে অস্ট্রেলিয়া কন্টিনিউয়াসলি তারা কাজ করছে যে কিভাবে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্টরা অনশোরে আসতে পারে, ফিজিক্যালি ক্লাস করতে পারে, এবং স্টেট গভর্নমেন্ট এবং আপনার সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট কাজ করছে, এবং প্রতিটা স্টেট গভর্নমেন্ট তাদের একটা প্রপোজাল দিচ্ছে সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্টকে যে তারা কিভাবে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্টদেরকে সাপোর্ট করবে। এবং যেটা মেলিসা বললো যে তারা চেষ্টা করছে যে জুলাই ইনটেক থেকে যেন ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্টরা অন ক্যাম্পাসে ক্লাস করতে পারে এবং সেখানে যেতে পারে। এবং ইন বিটুইন যদি অনলাইনে আপনারা ক্লাস শুরু করেন তো আপনাদের একটা অ্যাডভান্টেজ থাকবে যে আপনারা যখন বর্ডার ওপেন হবে তারা প্রায়োরিটি পাবে যেতে, কারণ তখন অনেক রাশ থাকবে। আপনি যদি তখন প্রসেসটা শুরু করেন তখন যেতে যেতে হয়তো অনেক ডিলে হতে পারে। আর তাছাড়া ইন বিটুইন আপনার গ্যাপটা হচ্ছে না। আর আপনারা যারা আইএলটিএস সম্বন্ধে কোশ্চেন করেছেন, আমি অলরেডি আনসার দিয়েছি যে মোস্ট অফ দ্য অস্ট্রেলিয়ান ইউনিভার্সিটিতে আপনি কন্ডিশনাল অফারের জন্য এই মুহূর্তে উইদাউট আইএলটিএস এ অ্যাপ্লাই করতে পারেন, তবে ফিউচার ডেটে আপনার আইএলটিএস হোক, পিটিএ হোক, ডিএলিঙ্গো হোক, এই ধরনের টেস্ট আপনাদেরকে দিতে হবে। তো আমি যেটা শুরুতেই বলেছিলাম, আসলে সিচুয়েশনটা খুবই একটা ভালো না আমাদের জন্য। আমাদের কোভিড এর সিচুয়েশনটা ডে বাই ডে খারাপ হচ্ছে। তো আইসিসি ও গভর্নমেন্টের রুলস রেগুলেশন মেনে আমাদেরও আমাদের যে 14 তারিখ থেকে লকডাউন শুরু হচ্ছে, তো আমাদের অফিস বন্ধ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। আমাদের আগামীকাল 13 তারিখ পর্যন্তই 30 নভেম্বর পর্যন্ত ওপেন থাকছে 5টা পর্যন্ত। তারপরে আমরা ওয়ার্ক ফ্রম হোমে চলে যাচ্ছি। আমাদের ডে টু ডে সার্ভিস অবশ্যই ওপেন থাকবে। আপনারা আমাদের ফোনে, অনলাইনে, স্কাইপে আমাদের সাথে যোগাযোগ করতে পারেন, এবং যারা স্টুডেন্ট আছে তারা কন্টিনিউয়াসলি আমাদের সাপোর্টটা পাবেন। তো এখন যেটা হচ্ছে যে যদি আপনার কোনো কারণে আপনাদের ফ্লাইট ক্যান্সেল হয়ে থাকে গভর্নমেন্ট রুলস এর কারণে, আপনাদের পরে বর্ডার ওপেন হয়ে গেলে আপনারা আপনাদের ফ্লাইটটা রিশিডিউল করতে পারবেন। এবং মোস্ট কেসেসে আপনাদেরকে কোনো অ্যাডিশনাল আপনাদের ফ্লাইটের পেমেন্ট দিতে হচ্ছে না। কানাডার জন্য স্পেশালি বলছি, আর অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে তো বর্ডার এখনো ওপেন হয় নাই, হলে আমরা সেটা পরবর্তী গাইডলাইন দিয়ে থাকবো। তো আপনারা যারা আমাদেরকে সাথে যোগাযোগ করতে চান বা আমাদের অফিসে আসতে চান, তো এই লকডাউনের আগে আমাদের আগামীকাল পর্যন্ত অফিস খোলা আছে। এরপরে আমরা অনলাইনে 1 সপ্তাহের জন্য গভর্নমেন্টের নির্দেশ অনুযায়ী আমরা ওয়ার্ক ফ্রম হোমে চলে যাচ্ছি। এবং ইন বিটুইন যদি কারো কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে আমাদেরকে করতে পারেন, আমরা আপনাদের সলিউশনটা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব। আশা করি সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, সেফ থাকবেন, পর্যাপ্ত সেফটি মেনে চলবেন যেন আমরা এই কোভিড এর সিচুয়েশনটা ট্যাকেল দিতে পারি। এবং দোয়া করি যারা অসুস্থ আছেন হাসপাতালে বিভিন্ন কারণে, তারা যেন দ্রুততার সাথে রিকভার করতে পারে। তো দেখা হবে ইনশাআল্লাহ আপনাদের সাথে খুব শীঘ্রই। সে পর্যন্ত ভালো থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন, দোয়া করবেন। বাই সবাইকে, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।